Hey guys, I'm with my friend Ryan here. Ryan, by the way, does my engine building. Love this guy. I'm here with this hybrid. Way back in the day, when we used to have a hybrid, we meant it had an engine swap. This is an old school hybrid. Welcome to VTEC Academy. You're about to get schooled. All right, Ryan, let's talk about your car here. What year is this? What is this?
This is an 03 Civic hybrid sedan. Picked it up when I worked in California, the Honda dealership over there. Got it for 500 bucks.
Wow.
And
dead batteries, obviously?
Yep, it did have a dead battery. It needed some other things, but went ahead and got her back up and running, and I actually donated it to my nephew. And my nephew drove it throughout high school, drove it down here, started his college, and then when he picked up another car, I got it back. And I didn't know what to do with it. So it sat in the parking lot at my work for a very long time, and then I tried to sell it, and with check engine lights and stuff and emissions, people were like, I don't want to deal with that. Asking about the batteries and this and that, and then I was like, all right, fine. I'm gonna start collecting parts. So I started buying parts left and right. We got a good friend over here, Cesar Chavez online.
I bought RSX parts from him.
Yep, great guy. I almost sourced everything from him. And I literally just started loading the back of my truck up, and I says, once I know I have everything in the back of my truck, then the project starts.
Let's see what we got. Oh, baby.
Yes, sir.
K-Series.
Yep, what we
This
got.
is what a hybrid should mean.
Yep, this is a TSX bottom with a Civic Si head, K20 Z3 head, RBC manifold, of course. Completely stock. There's nothing on the internals, not even head studs in this thing. Completely stock build, because I'm not getting crazy with the boost. I wanted it still streetable. It has a stock RSX Type S transmission it does have a limited slip from a DC5R. Borg Warner turbo. We got a cheapy built intercooler in the front, which I had Cerakoted. It's been taking some hits because I do daily this pretty much. It does have AC, factory AC, believe it or not. The only thing that was modified was the discharge hose out of the compressor to the condenser. Is the only hose that I had to modify. Other than that, the hardest part of the project was the wiring. Hybrid wiring is completely different than any other Civic. From the gauge cluster to MICU to underdash, completely different.
Now, you had mentioned to me that you had changed the instrument cluster on this.
Yes, sir.
Now, did the other one just plug right in, or did you have to make wiring changes on that?
No, I didn't even use the hybrid one just because I knew the back side of it. It was originally an automatic car too.
Got it.
Was not a 5-speed car. I didn't want to see the drive, the neutral. I never liked that look. And then plus, the EX cluster from a Civic EX has the RPM, everything, and so I decided to pick up one of those from an 03 Civic EX and wired it in, which wiring a gauge cluster is not fun.
No.
I had to make my own tool just to de-pin everything, so that was a good time. Brian here, of course, helped me with the wiring. It was kind of brought the heads together. He had his, I had mine, and when at the very end we looked at them and they matched. So it worked out. Started right up first, after everything was installed. It is running on Honda K-Pro. Car actually has not been dynoed yet. It was tuned from our friend here that we work with, Jesus Funes. He's the one that tunes all of our cars here. And it's streetable, it drives perfect. It pushes about 11 and a half, 12 pounds. 1000cc injectors. All the piping's been custom done. I didn't want to hack up the core support, but I did have to make room for intercooler piping. I don't have the standard, the way people route it for RSX and this style of Civic, where the piping, comes out and around.
Right.
And comes out. I went straight through. So I have no piping that may get close to the ground or nothing like that.
This particular radiator that comes on the hybrid, was it a little bit narrow and have room on the side, or do you think if you have an EP3 radiator, you'll have room as well?
It should be the same size.
Okay.
Hybrid radiator, it is actually still in a stock hybrid radiator, stock hybrid condenser. It does have an RSX AC compressor, but everything pretty much matched up, just that one hose. But I just had to notch the side of the core support for the piping. And of course it does have RSX subframe. Even the manifold and downpipe and everything I ordered, and I ordered for an RSX, bolted on, you know, because everything is literally like an RSX underneath the hood of a hybrid. That's the one reason why I went with it, because you know, fuse box is over here, you know, ABS is over there, just like an RSX, but it has EPS. It has electric power steering. Didn't have to mess with anything than that. Everything plugged right in.
Got to run an idler pulley, and
Yep.
actually the power steering pump touches the hood.
Yes.
On a Civic.
That's right.
Because it's such a short front end.
Yep.
You actually made a little bit of room here.
Yeah.
For your manifold.
For the RBC, you do have to cut. I did have to cut in the hood. Nothing crazy. It's not, you know, completely shaved down, so it's just enough for everything to clear and still look somewhat factory. I did have to reroute, you know, every heater hose and fuel line hose in the back is rerouted and covered.
Oh, for the turbo heat and
so
stuff like that.
Yeah, everything's away from the turbo heat. Everything, the manifold, the turbo, intercooler, piping, everything's Cerakoted to help with the heat. Besides that, it's got full RSX Type S wheels, brakes, suspension, just so I had the brakes, you know.
This is a sleeper looking car.
Yep.
You know what I mean? With the RSX underpinnings and obviously the RSX kind of engine.
Yep.
Yeah, and then of course turbo on top of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can catch a few people unawares with this car.
You know what?
People don't mess with you?
Nothing. I get nothing on the freeway. You know, sometimes I hope to, but it's fine. I was really hoping I can use a factory hybrid wheel, but unfortunately with the Type S brakes and everything,
They're too big.
yeah, they hit I've tried every hybrid wheel that would come through the dealership. I'm like, let me try that out. Nope, didn't work. And I don't want to put big old spacers on there, you know, so that's really the only thing, kind of a giveaway that something might be happening with it, is the RSX wheels. You know, of course, and it is 5-lug now. It was 4-lug.
Right.
Other than that, it's just, you know, a stock-looking hybrid. I didn't want to go, you know, a lot of guys will put the regular sedan bumpers on it, but then that, you know, goes away from the hybrid look. You know, this
I like the hybrid look.
Yes. This bumper is specific to the hybrid, so I wanted to keep that. Granted, I do lose some airflow, you know, because things are blocked off, but other than that, it is pretty much stock looking. Interior is completely stock besides 2 gauges. You know, I got, you know, air, fuel, and boost.
Stick around to the end of the video and I will actually go over the mount combination that works for this car. So tell you exactly, if you want to do something like this, what you need to buy.
It does have K-tuned coolant side
Right.
mounting for the cylinder head. Another small, you know, K-tuned bits, of course. You know, of course, the throttle body, and then, you know, just
And the K-tuned throttle body, right.
Yep. That is I don't even know if it's a 70. It might be a 70.
Yeah, I think
70. Yeah, I think it's a 70. It's not a 72.
Right.
I don't have an open dump for my wastegate either. I recirced it back in.
Okay.
Same with, you know, old man Brian's fit, recirc.
Now you've got your fuel pressure here, so you're not relying on the fuel pressure regulator in the trunk. So did you bypass that, or is it?
Yes, yes. The fuel pump is completely bypassed. I had some issues with it because I mean, you can go on YouTube and you can see a lot of guys modifying RSX pumps or, you know, any style of those pumps. It works, but I still had an issue with it not feeding correctly. I kept having almost like a inlet feeding issue. So I completely gutted it, really, and I literally just, you know, of course I added return. So I returned a whole return line all the way to the back. It does have an AEM 340 pump in the back, and just AN bulkhead fittings on the top of the pump. You know, run them just as you would a factory fuel line along the stock fuel line stuff. You know, and everything locks into place.
And I noticed your boost referenced as well.
Yes.
So obviously that's good on a turbo, and much easier to do with the regulator here in the engine bay
for
than it would be
tuning
for the
and
back.
you know,
Right.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
So a lot of people, you know, you can do it with returnless, but I prefer not. I would rather have return, you know, in being able to make that adjustment. So it does have, you know, Speed Factory 3-port, you know, boost solenoid as well.
Okay.
We haven't really got into that yet just because it is still a stock motor. I don't plan to get crazy with it. Eventually it may be a piston and rod motor, but right now stock, it runs perfect. So
Very good.
and AC. So
Nice.
yep.
Have you done anything with the suspension or anything on this car?
It just has some off-the-shelf coilovers. Nothing special. It rides good. Just to lower it down just a little bit, you know, I didn't, you know, with the stock hybrid suspension, you know, because that was one of the last pieces I did was the wheels, the 5-lug, and the suspension, and I'd hit bumps and it, you know, driving like a old Buick or something, you know, just floating.
Floating Barca Lounger.
Yeah, can't have that.
This throttle cable.
Yes, sir.
What's it off of?
That's actually the K-tuned.
Oh, the K-tuned throttle.
Yes.
Got it. So the K-tuned bracket,
yeah, so,
K-tuned universal harness. Got it.
The wiring wise, really the only, like, the wiring plugs are almost the same as the K-series.
Right.
Yes, almost everything plugged in. I just had to modify the 2 plugs. And then.
So on the E-plug, did you have to make any changes on the E-plug itself? Because that's one that stays in the car.
Yep. I did. I believe I just removed wires. I don't think I had to move any pins. I just removed things that
weren't
needed. Yeah, because a lot of it, there's a lot of hybrid wiring through that, and it's not needed. I'm one person to not just leave the stuff in the car. If it's not needed, I would like it removed. Yeah. So it just makes for a cleaner look.
Yeah.
So
I actually have a chart that shows how to make the C101 connection between the RSX harness and the hybrid or the stock body harness. So I'll share that information with you guys. So have you brought it to the track to kind of make a run or anything?
I believe I may go to the track in Tucson with old man Brian. He thinks I should. I would love to do the drag and drive with it, but you know, timing just won't work out. So I believe I'll probably just go down there. I don't going to do some roll racing, but I'll probably do some drag racing with it just to see. It'd be fun. So.
Well, get an EP3 radiator if you can drive it down there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, by then it may be cooler. So
that's
a
true.
good thing.
It will be cooler.
It is cooling down in Phoenix, so.
So if you're interested in putting a K-series engine in your hybrid Civic from 03 to 05, this is one of several mount kits you can use. This is the one that Ryan used on his because he used an RSX transmission. So let me kind of go over it. This is how it works on the transmission side. You have this bracket that bolts up onto the frame rail, and then it bolts with this mount. You can change this mount depending on what transmission you're using, so that's why there's multiple mount kits. The rear mount looks like this. It's going to be the same regardless of which mount kit you use, unless you're doing all-wheel drive, and then it looks a little bit different. Now, this mount is for the passenger side. This one bolts to the timing chain side of the engine, and basically it's the automatic transmission mount kit for a base RSX. Same kit. You do need a couple other parts. You're going to need the RSX subframe. That's what this mount will bolt to. And you're also going to need the bracket that comes off the back of the transmission. Now, if you're using other transmissions that don't use that bracket, Hasport does have a bracket. You're going to need to tell Hasport what transmission you're using, and they'll make sure you get the right kit. These are also available in steel, so that's going to be a little bit more budget friendly, but this is the mount kit if you want to do a K-swap in your hybrid. Along with the proper mounts, you're going to need a proper wiring harness. Now, this particular one I made specifically for doing a hybrid swap. I compared the stock wiring with the one for an RSX, and I came up with these handy-dandy instructions right here. But basically what's going to want, and these will be available on the website, so if you want to download them, you'll be able to do that. But basically, these 4 plugs were harvested from a hybrid manual car. This one would be missing if it was a CVT car, but in this information will be everything you need to do in order to get it to work. Also, this is going to require particular terminals, so I'm going to have a list of those part numbers with the instructions as well. Also, they'll be in the show notes down below this video episode, but all the stuff is available except these plugs. You're probably going to wind up having to get these out of your car, and those come on your stock wiring harness. Along with that, you're going to need the proper tools. I was able to do it with just these tools right here. This one I use for crimping super small connectors that go in these 2 white plugs. They're the same as ECU plugs, believe it or not. So this is a good pair of crimps to have. There'll be a link in the show notes. They're made by iWis. And normally I would have used these tools for the rest of that. But iWis, which now calls himself iCrimp, came out with this new one. And this basically combines 3 of my tools into one. So this is like perfect for your race car toolbox, but you have your strippers in the stainless steel section right here for stripping wire. Then it has the different size crimps, 5 different size crimps on it. And on top of that, it has the circular crimps that you use for crimping around insulators. So this is really a nice tool. It's funny, this is called a 1424A, this is called a 1424B, and this is called a 1424AB. So there'll be a link on our Amazon affiliate page for both of these sets of crimpers, and there will be a list of the part numbers you need and where you can get them from Corsa Technic to get the terminals for all these as well. So wiring, it's not that hard. It's like plumbing. You just do it one wire at a time. It all works out fine. All right, take those hybrids and turn them into K-Series powered cars. You now have the information you need to do that. So we should be snapping those puppies up when the batteries go bad. Anyway, guys, if you liked what you saw, please think about liking and subscribing while I figure out how this plug goes back in here. There we go. Like and subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications, and we'll catch you on the next video.